Aloha folks, welcome to Healthy Ukulele. Thank you for joining. We still got people coming in, so we're going to give it a second, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. So there's a couple of things that we need to know in advance today, going into today's lesson. If you weren't here for the first two, you can check out our website, I think it's on the lessons page. If you go to healthyukulele.com, click on lessons, you'll see the previous two videos that we did with the chord shapes for major and minor, and the second one was for the dominant diminished. So those are on there. A couple things about Zoom. Throughout the call, you guys are going to be muted, but we do have a feature. If you roll to the bottom of the screen, you see this little feature there that says raise hand. And what you do is you hit that, and as you can see, I'm wearing these things, right? So it'll click in my ear, and I'll be able to look into the chat. And there's the other feature down there. Look down there, you see a chat box. You can actually pull up the chat box and type in a message, a question, and if you raise your hand, I'll see to look at the chat box, and I'll be able to answer your questions as we're going. Today's a little bit extensive. We're going to be going over the scales, and I go over the scales in a myriad of different ways, right? But we're going to start with the first way that I like to look at it, and it ties to the cops always get free donuts thing. It ties to those pictures, and the reason for that is we need a foundational look at how the scale runs on the ukulele. Okay, now in music theory, a scale is a scale is a scale is a scale. However, per instrument on the ukulele, we have a certain way that we look at things because of the unique tuning of the ukulele. Now, I have a low G ukulele, but if you have a high G ukulele, it'll be the same thing. You'll be able to look at it in the same way because the note is the same, even though the octave may be different. Now that being said, going into today, we're going to be looking at a few pictures. So you guys hopefully have this written down, right? That's our musical alphabet, and that's the scale formula underneath it. Okay, hopefully you guys got that. And our chord pictures, right? Where we had our major, our minor, our diminished, and our dominant shapes, right, from the previous 2 weeks. If we look here, you'll notice that blue dot on the F shape. That blue dot is the optional 5, and you'll see that in minor it's not blue, because in the minor shape that's not an option. We need that 5 to be there. Okay, so that being said, now we're going to look at our chords and how they tie into the scale picture. Okay, so we had talked about how the 1 chord is major, the 2 chord is minor, 3 chord is minor, 4 chord is major, 5 chord is major, 6 chord is minor, and the 7 chord is diminished. Right? And we talked about the way the diminished and the dominant tie into each other, being that the 7 of any key is simply the 5 as a dominant without the root. Okay, so that might sound complex, but hear me out on this, okay? The 7 chord of the key is the diminished chord, meaning like, okay, for the key of C, it would be B diminished, right? But all it is, right, B diminished, if you think about the shape, all it is G7, the 5 chord, as a dominant. G7 with no G. Okay? And all G7 is G played over a B diminished. And if we can understand that, we can see the tie between the diminished and the dominant. And we went over its function. The function of the diminished chord is to bring us back to our root. Okay? So that being said, we're able to get started today. And what we're going to be doing is looking at our scale pictures. So hopefully you have this here, right? And jumping right in, we're going to go ahead and start looking at our scales. Now, first and foremost, scales, I know when you say scales, a lot of people have like this this idea in their head that like, oh, this means I gotta sit there and practice and run scales. Like you've seen violin students that just do this all day. You can do that, and it's good to be able to get this under your fingers. However, I want you to look at it in more of a sonic way. You know, you want to kind of tie the scale to the chord that we're looking at. Now, our first thing that we want to do is get that first paper out, okay? And then we're going to do this. Sorry about my dog. She is being kind of a pain today. All right, so here we go. We got our scale for each shape, right? And so, oh, sorry about that, guys. My father-in-law's phone is quite loud. Yeah, he doesn't like wearing his hearing aids, so you can hear the TV is on super loud, and you can hear his phone is even louder. Okay, so here is our C chord picture, right? Let's blow this up so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so we got this. Now, those two red dots, you guys remember what that means, right? Those are the roots. Now, the root of a key is the note that it's named after. So if I said the key of C, I'm talking about where the C is on the fretboard, right? The C, everything ties to that. You guys remember how we build scales, right? Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half on there. So that would be the key of C would contain the letters C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now the root of that key is C. So if we go here and we see this picture, right, that's our C chord. Now we're going to learn to play the C picture in two different ways. Okay, every shape except for the F shape has an open position and then a movable shape. Okay, so we're going to look at both the open position and the movable shape. So here is our C chord. Okay, now I'm going to skip over to the next line to give you guys the C scale. Okay, because we're going to use the C shape in the one below. So if we go like this, right, and I'm going to go through here and I'm going to start eliminating some of these dots. Now, when we play the key of C, we have G, right, starting from this note, G, here's A. So these two aren't necessary, right? In fact, I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to get rid of this one. Okay, so G, A, B, C is here, right? So we don't need the C sharp. Right, then D, we don't need E flat. So we have E here in the open position, F, we don't need the F sharp, we're going to remove this. We have G, A, we don't need the B flat, B, and C, right? So these are still our root. Right, so I can go here, put that as my root. Now, if we look at this, and we can see that shape, right, then we can start to understand that that's how we would place C in the open position. Because, I mean, I couldn't go backwards and play B from here, right? That's an open C. The only way to get a B out of that string is to tune the string down, which we're not going to do. However, the B, if we look at our shape, kind of stands out from the cluster, right? Like this thing is kind of like on the outside out here on his own, an island unto himself, if you might look at it that way. But if we have a movable shape, right? If I were to look at it like this, if we were, for example, playing a D scale, right, we could do the same thing, only it would be like this, right? So I'd have, this would be my A, which is the 5 in D, right? And then I could do the same thing where I'd go a whole step, move this one up to the next whole step, right? But I'm not going to do that in this case. I'm actually going to do this, right? Because that's the same note. Now I'm going to get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Same way we did the last one, right? We're getting rid of those notes that aren't part of the scale. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. And there's my shape. This is my movable shape. But the root would be in the same spot. But now, since we're not playing a C, the root is a D. What scale is this? It's a D scale, right? Simple as that. Same way as if I were to, you know, and let's just drop this over here in advance so I can pick it up later. I'll put this up here for now. Okay, so same way as if I were to take the C and move it up. Right, so if I go like this, did it again. There we go. If I were to put that in the second fret, then we'd have a D, right? So as a movable shape, I'd have this. Now, the movable shape thing, okay, it could be a C sharp too, and I'd still have that movable shape, right? We just move it back so that this one would be the open string. But we use D as an example because it's the next tie into our picture. Remember how we said cops always get free donuts, right? So we can see the tie between the C shape and the D shape, where it comes from. Now, okay, so how that looks on the instrument itself, right? If we're looking at this, we're going to play it like this. Okay, starting here, open string, we got G. And I always think of my hand kind of like one finger per fret, okay, when we're doing scales. But you don't have to, okay? You don't have to think of it this way. I just like to think of it this way because it's a little bit more convenient for my, what is the word I'm looking for? For my economy of motion philosophy that I use for this thing, okay? So starting here, I'm going open, and then I use my middle finger because it's the second fret, right? And then my fourth finger. Set, so open, middle, pinky. And so a lot of people aren't used to using their pinky, right? But this is going to help us get better dexterity with our hand. Open, middle, pinky. Next one, open, middle. Okay, then we're going to go down to the next string, open, first finger, and your ring finger. Open, middle, ring finger. And that's if we played this, right? If we played that shape. Okay, so if we can get that, then we're most of the way there. Okay, so here. Now if we look at the closed position, or the movable shape, right? Coming from here, now it changes. I'm starting with my middle, right? Starting with the middle. I got my pinky, pointer, middle, pinky. Right, so see that? That's my shape. it's the same shape, right? But now we're using this one because we have the convenience of having the 7 move down below the root, which we didn't have before on our open string, right? So going back, let's try it together. Okay, we're playing in the key of D now. We remember how to do the shape, right? We're doing a C shape at D, so we're going to bar the 2nd fret, pinky on the bottom. That 2nd fret, top string, I'm going to use my middle finger. Okay, I'm going to go middle, skip a fret, use my pinky. All right, and I'm going to the next string. I'm going to use my 1st finger on that 1st fret. 2nd finger again. Skip over, use the pinky. Now here's where it changes, right? I'm going to shift my whole position up a fret. I go here, 1st finger on the 2nd fret. And I'm using the same thing, pointer, middle, pinky, but now it's 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. All right? And pointer on the 1st string, ring, pinky. So, right? Notice there's a shift in the middle of this. Shift back, shift forward. So this is a good exercise to get you used to moving your fingers around. Right? But we got to know that it's coming from this chord. Right? Kind of get that? Okay, so some of you guys have to leave early. Yeah, so if you guys want to watch the video, I'll have it up by Sunday. And this one, like I said, this one's a little bit harder, so you want to make sure you print out your papers and take the notes on it, right? So we hate to lose you guys on today's lesson, but you know, thank you for coming by, and we're gonna do it again on Friday too. So if you want to get re-upped, you can jump on Friday. Right, so I know Walt and Lori are leaving, but like, well, in a little bit. But thank you guys for coming in, and let's go to the next part. Okay, so that was our C shape. Cops always get free donuts. So what's our next shape? The A shape, right? Always. So let's look at it here. This is another one with the open shape being different from the movable shape. Right? So we're going to move our chord here. Here's our open shape. And let's go down here and let's make it movable. Let's use a C because that's the next letter, right? Cops always get free donuts. So we're going to go tie in to where the C shape was. And we'll go right here. Okay, now in our open position, okay, this is our root. This is A. That's the 7. We're going to get rid of this, right? Because we don't need the dominant here. So we don't have an open for a string. And this guy is actually going to move over here. Okay, the reason for this is because this note is that open note, right? The 5th fret is the same thing as the open string. So we have that to look at. Oh, hang on one second, guys. I have a message coming in. Okay, so now that is the first line, or the first string, or 4th string. Okay, now our next note, because we're playing this, we're going, right? So we don't have a C in this key. We have a C sharp. So what we're going to do is delete this note. And then we have those two. Now I could move this over here, but remember on the E string, this is E, so that's the same note. It's redundant. I don't need it. I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, now I have F sharp, so I can get rid of F. And I have G sharp, so I'm going to move this over. Oh, sorry guys, I like to try to look at least nice. Okay, and then we have our open A. We don't need the B flat, so I'm going to cut this. And then C would be a C sharp, right? So this is our picture of our open A shape. All right, so let's try to play this. Or you know what? Here, let's get the roots down first. Okay, so here's a root. And here's a root. Okay, now, looking at this, right, we can start to see that we're going to play this again in the first position, meaning finger 1 on the first fret. Right, so it looks like this. Finger 1, finger 2, finger 4. Right, so this is actually the root, but this is the farthest back I can go, right? Like how it's C, we played the G as the first thing. We didn't start on the root note, but we play back as far as we can, because this is the lowest note that we can have being in the key. That's where I'm going to start for my picture. Okay, so 7, 1, 2, in terms of like notes in the scale, right? So finger number 1, finger number 2, finger number 4. Next string, finger number 1, finger number 2, open, finger number 2, finger number 4, open, 2, and 4, right? So we have this picture. There. All right, and if we start from here, it sounds like this. Right, so that's our picture. Right, that's our little thing there. But we can move this. We have a movable shape as well. So we moved this picture over here up to the 3rd fret, right? And that's how we're gonna do our movable shape. And then we can see it from here. So on the 3rd fret, if I did this, let's see. Oh, that's not what I needed. Let's get our other picture back. Let's see, where is it? There we go. Okay. Here. Oh, wrong picture. There we go. Now you guys can see me. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go here. Now again, we're focusing on the root being on the 3rd fret, right? So we're going to go ahead and color those in right now. Root and root. Now, because we're here, we can get rid of this, right? Because we don't have that flat 7. And we can get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this one. And this one. And that's an A shape where we can clearly see the A shape in here, right? You guys see that? Now, if I'm playing C, it would look like this when I'm holding it. Where my C chord is, I move my finger back one. Alright, so I would go to the second position. Pointer, ring, pinky, pointer, ring, pinky, middle, pinky, pointer, middle, pinky. Alright, you guys see that? So that's going to be like that. Okay. So our next chord within this is G. Right? Cops always get free donuts. So let me go ahead. I'm going to actually do this. I'm going to paste all my pictures right here so I can grab them when I need them. Okay, so we got this. Like I said, we're going to look at this in more than one way. Okay, we're going to eventually be looking at it in terms of number and the picture of the number. But as for right now, we're looking at it from the cops always get free donuts standpoint, right? And so I think this is a great way to start it. But we're not going to leave it here. Okay, we're actually going to be going much deeper into all of that stuff. Give me a second here. Okay, there we go. All right, now I just put the rest of them up there. All right, so the G, the F, and then the D. But here's our G. Okay. And if we were to move the G, we'd move it up to the next shape. So what is the next shape? Right, so previous shape to G would be the A, right? So that's what it ties to. So I'm going to go to A, right? So that would mean I have to go to the second fret. So we can see the tie between the G shape and the A shape, which we just came from in the previous picture. Okay, so there we go. Now, in the open position, our G scale, right, we can play G. That's there. But, look at this. I have to go here. Right, I need a B. So I can get rid of this. Right, that's going to give me G, A, B. And I have C. And then D, so I don't need the D sharp. I don't need E flat. So I'm going to kill that one. I have E, I don't need F because I have F sharp in the key of G, right? So I'm going to move that. F sharp, G. Okay, and then down here, I don't need the B flat. So here we go. This is our G picture in the open position. Okay, once we got that, we can try to play this. Okay, now, let's take a look at this. And we would see that we would still have our fingers in the first position, right? Because we have all these open notes. And the farthest one we would reach would be the 4th fret, and that's where our pinky lies. So we go here. Okay, we have open, 2, 4. Open, 2. Open, 2, 3. Open, 2, 3. Right, and the root notes are here. Right, so open 4th string and 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So. Right, that's our scale for Now when we moved this, we went to the A chord. Right? And the picture is going to be looking different because now the limitations that I had with the open strings are going to be coming up. So we can see this. Okay, so we tied to the A shape. Grab this. And then we're going to go here. So we're going to put our first thing on A. Actually, let's go to A flat because we can use the 7, yeah? Okay, so what we're going to do here is because the shapes on this, it always moves up on that E string, right? So we're going to move this up like that. And let me try to make that nicer. Oh, that's not lining up. Close enough. Cross that bridge when I come to it. Okay, anyway, it's going to go like this, right? So if this is my root, and this is my root, right? Because that's A. Both of these are A. Then we have this, right? Where we just take these out and these out. So now look at this. There's my shape. Now how does this look when we're playing it? Right? It looks like this. Here's my chord. Here's my shape. Shift. Right? So pointer, middle, pinky. Pointer, middle, pinky. Then we shift up a half step. Pointer, ring, pinky. Pointer, ring, pinky. Right, we got that. And that's going to tie into this shape. Okay, now, next one. Cops always get free. Okay, so let's look at F. And when I have my F chord, right, I got this. But we can move that shape, right? What's the next? What was the previous shape that we played? G, right? So let's move the F up to the G position, right? Whereas the root is on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And we got this. So now we have the same chord, okay? But in the open position, our F has one root, right here. In fact, let's just do this. And I'll go here. Okay. Now, I'm just going to take out these two.
Aaron, could you switch your camera, please?
Oh, yeah. There we go. Thank you, Susan. Okay, so we've got this, right? And that's going to be my F. Right? Just got to take this one out. Okay, there we go. That's going to be the open position F. Now again, we're going to play it in the first position, but we're not going to be using our pinky now, right? So it looks like this. Okay. Open, 2nd finger, 3rd finger. Open, 2nd finger. Open, 1st, 3rd. Open, 1st, 3rd. Okay. All right, that's going to be our F. Now, the cool thing about the F shape is that the F shape is the movable shape. Okay, so if we were to move this up to the G, all we would do is this. Right? So we go here, and we play it from the G. And that's the same exact thing. Okay, so here's our CAGF, and our last shape is donuts, right? Cops always get free donuts. So let's take a look at the D shape. The way we would move this, we said we moved the D shape to the C shape, right? But it's coming from the F. So if I go here, remember what ties these together, right? Is that 5, right? So if I go here, I'm playing off of that that 5th. In fact, you know what? We should do that too. Let's do that. We'll copy, and then we'll put our optional 5 here. We're gonna change the color of it so that we can see it's the option, right? Like, remember how we made the blue dot? There's our blue dot, okay? And that's what ties to the D shape, right? So in this case, we're playing an F, because that note, the root note there is F, right? This one. Now, in the open position, the D looks like this. In fact, you know, here, let me grab this and copy. Okay, now we have a G in the D shape, right? And it's always kind of one of these things where we look at what the chord is. So it's this and these 3, right? That's my D chord, right? So let's eliminate the notes we don't need. I don't need these 2. Okay, I don't need this one. Okay, I don't need this. And this would be removed as well. Now, I would actually have to play the note previous to this, right, which would be a B. So I'm going to move my B over here, and I'm going to get rid of the A flat. Okay, and this is where the root is. Oh, go here. Okay, and that is my open position D shape. However, remember what this one ties to, right? The C shape. And remember how we did the C shape? We moved the note that was out of our alignment back down, right? So let's go see here. So we're in the F position. So we'll go here. All right, now if the root is, oh, sorry about the dogs, guys. Jeez, I swear I get no breaks from these guys. So again, we're going to eliminate these 2. All right, is that enough? Oh, sorry. Hello. There we go. Okay, eliminate that. Then I'm gonna go and move this guy down here. Right, because I don't want to get that B, that one note stretched out, right? So let's eliminate this guy. And then I don't need this because that's there. I don't need this. And this is my root. Or actually, let's do that. There we go. Okay, so D shape in the open position and in the movable position. Looks like this, right? Here's my D chord. If I'm playing the open shape, I have this, 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 right? Okay, then I'm going here, first finger, right? Then open, second finger, third finger. And if I wanted to, I could actually reach out to here, but since we already did that there, we could, but we're not going to put that on our picture because we were trying to show how that's isolated, right? So it'd just be this. Start here, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. Yeah. Right? Now if we're playing in the F, right, the movable D shape, it would look like this, where I have, or actually starting with the second finger, right? First finger, second finger, third finger, or actually, there we go. Right? Middle, pinky, pointer, middle, pinky. Or middle, pinky, pointer, ring, pinky. Pointer, ring, pinky. Pointer, ring. And that's what that shift. See how I shifted that to that string? So. That gives that. Now, having written all that out, you got it all over there. We remember how we tie it together, right? Cops always get free donuts. So the only position I would play in the open position would be whatever the note was. If I started with C, I'd play the C position in the open position. Every other position would be closed. So it would look like this. In my C, I have to play the open position because I'm here. But when I go to the A shape of it, I can play the A shape, right? In the closed position, or in the movable position. The G shape, I can play in movable position. F shape. F shape doesn't have a movable position, right? It's the same thing. But where that 5 is, I drop that, I got my D, and I've got the D in the movable position. I can't even talk, mumble mouth today. Right, and then back to C. And now I can use my movable position because I'm way up here, right? So it'd be like. And that's how you guys are going to practice this. You're going to play that through the Cops Always Get Free Donuts thing, using your movable positions after the initial open position. Okay, and you can do that with whatever chord you want to start on. Say we're doing F sharp, then you'd have no open positions because F doesn't have a movable position anyway. It doesn't have an open position, it's just movable. So you can play all of them as the second picture, the movable. Okay, now, that being said, that's what we're looking at as far as tying these together. Next week, we're gonna actually look at the scales in a different way. 3 pictures that move throughout. Okay, and if you don't understand that, that's okay. Now, if you guys remember the number I told you to memorize last time, right? 7362514. That is going to become extremely relevant next week. All right, guys. That's what we're doing today. But join us on Friday for a review of this, and also next week we'll be going into the next part.